Welcome back to Trust TV on our Daybreak show. Those were the special events that happened today in history, and I'm sure you found them very delighting. We are now joined by the general editor of the Daily Trust newspaper, Malam Hamza Hidris, who will be our reviewer for today. You're welcome again.
Good morning.
On the Daybreak show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our lead story, of course, away from the direction of all the papers today in Nigeria, it appears we were the only ones who seem to have paid special attention to the Yauri schoolgirls, the FG schoolgirls. The lead story here reads, 10 months after, Yauri schoolgirls still in captivity. Dogo Gide insists on 100 million ransom. Families 2 million collected. Girls with head. Kingpin build mansion. Live large in the forest. Amazing how this is possible if you consider the amount of logistics and resources that you need to mobilize into the forest to put up a structure. Mother bedridden over girls' fate. I mean, as serious as this is, the question you will ask is, how do these people sort these bricklayers and the specialists, to go into a forest, to even contemplate living large in the forest that is supposedly being bombarded, as we hear every day, by the Nigerian Army? What's your take on this
that is the irony, and it shows the level of freedom, if I may say, the bandits or terrorists or whatever you call them. Yes, because it's multi-layered, the problem. One, the profiling of the criminals. For a very long time, we've been saying it, that a criminal is a criminal, and if you give him a lighter profiling, meaning you are giving him the latitude to continue wreaking havoc, and this is the price we are now paying. Large swaths of territory which is not governed, especially in the northwest, because from parts of Kaduna, Niger, Zamfara, Kebbi, and Sokoto, the forested areas are largely not under the control of anybody, because local government administration has collapsed. You don't even have the forest guards and all that. And because of the freedom and then the access to money these criminals have, some of them live far better life than some of us in the cities.
Really sad.
Yes, and that is what is happening. This Gide, for many months now, after taking away the girls from their school, now these ones are still with him, and sadly, he married them off. Some of them are pregnant, some have even delivered.
Terrible.
Yes, and it's so sad that they are reaching out to the parents of these girls, telling them that, okay, yes, of course, we have married off your daughter, but if you want her back, okay, we will give you, but you have to pay.
So, I'm really keen to ask, how much, of government intervention have we seen, in regards to actually repatriating these girls back?
It's extremely minimal, and that is why we keep tab on the happening. As you rightly said, Sunday, we're the only paper who, despite many other issues, because we feel that many parents are grieving. They are thinking about their loved ones. And the pathetic story about this, it is when you read through the story, you now see the pain that these terrorists still reach out, swindling parents, because you can see one of the parents there, they paid 2 million, and then the go-between now stopped even picking their calls after promising them that their daughter will be released. They cough 2 million, and then they send it Now they are asking for more. And the parents, they have sold everything. They don't have anything. And then they know that their daughters are still alive in the forest. So it's very sad. This man, Gide, he built a mansion in the forested areas, and then he even invited his mother. Yes, she visited the house, and then she spoke with some of the girls. She also, spoke with the parents of some of the girls. You can imagine, as if they are living.
The mother.
Yes. The mother of the culprit, the mother of the terrorists,
Do we now have a country within a country?
Yes, we do.
How does it sort the bricklayers, the building engineers,
They are
the
there.
piping?
As I said, these guys, they are living far better than some of us living in the cities, because they have enormous resources. You can imagine, they control billions, I'm telling you, not millions. They control billions of naira.
And one of the writers tells us a mother is bedridden over her girl's faith. Could this suggest the fate of several other parents and homes who still have their family in captivity?
These are just Birnin Yawuri students. We also have our tap on the Chibok girls. In the next few days, they will be
8 years.
8 years, yeah, in captivity. Who is talking about them? Only Daily Trust of sort.
Amazing.
No
Yes.
one really.
Amazing. It's pathetic what has happened. But not far from the issues of attack and kidnapping, we got the cherry news. Yes, cherry news it is, of the release of the MD of Bank of Agriculture yesterday evening. But amidst that cherry news was also another message from the terrorists to the Nigerian government. What do you make of that 58 seconds video?
I watched it. It sends a strong message, and it's like they prove our fears. Yes, because we've been saying it for a long time. As I said earlier, we call them bandits, we call them miscreants or whatever. Well, they are terrorists. You can see they are really, really terrorists who migrated from parts of the Northeast. And that is why when you look at the way the technology they deployed in, neutralizing the rail track, you know that they are not sundry criminals. They are high-profile criminals. And then you can see in the clip, they said it's not about money, even though they are lying. Yes, they can deceive. Yes, we know them very well. They can deceive. They said it's not about money, that there was an arrangement between them and government, that government knows what they want. So they should now deliver their own side of the bargain so that they will release the remaining captives. And they said they released this old man because he was frail, he was sick.
Was he really old?
I said they can deceive. Just to curry sympathy and all that he was old. And it's not true. Yes, because based on our findings, hundreds, millions were paid. Some said almost 100 million. And the man, he told them that, look, it's better you let me go, since this are from sources. It may not be true.
Right.
Because there are many school of thoughts about how he regained freedom. But the fact that he was the only one whom they released, and then considering his position in the society and all that, if you add 1 + 1, it's not just normal.
Right.
Yes, because they are not the kind of people who simply because you are sick, they will just release you because they have sympathy. They don't do that. Why are they holding children, all people that they raid villages and then pick them and haul them to the forest? They know that they don't have anything. They will say, go and sell your mud house. Go and sell your farm. go and sell your animals, your goats and all that, to pay ransom. And then they know that they have this high-priced captive. They say, okay, simply because he was. It's not true.
There has to be something that was given.
You see, so that is it. And this is where you can imagine if truly it was paid, because probably there are other factors they considered, but I know it's not out of sympathy. But if monies were paid as being said, almost 100 million, you know what that can do? And you know how long it can sustain bandits in the forest, 100 million. And they collect these monies almost on daily basis. Money is not their problem. And that is why they feel that they have their own country within a country.
Really, I'm really keen because in that video they said they know, the government knows what they want. The question would be, what really do they want?
They want so many things, and it's not true. They are being deceptive, you know. Some said they want some of their colleagues that were captured by our security forces to be released. And then some, you know, said that a large catch of arms, you know, was belonging to them, you know, was intercepted by Nigerian troops and seized. So they want the weapons to be released to them. Which government will do that?
To get a proper perspective of what Hamza is saying, let us play back that video for you to see again.
Rasulullah, amma ba mu da ne jama'an da muka kama wayannan mutanen nan a jirgin ƙasa kuma ga sanan da kun gansu wannan da cikin iko Allah da neman alfarma da ya tayi da yanayin ganin tsofarsa da yi shine muka tausaya masa yanzu da yanayin wata na Ramadan muka fitar da shi za mu miƙa wa ƴan uwarsa. Amma wannan gwamnati kusan abin da kuke kai wannan ba komai bane, mun dai tausaya masa ne, mun miƙa masa. Gashi nan dai in yana da wani ƙarin bayanin da zai muku sai ya muku kuji daga bakinsa. Wannan dai shine insha Allah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Ina so na shaida muku cewa an tausaya mu saboda girma na da tsofana da nake da shi aka ce in fita. Amma ina so shaida muku cewa na ba al'umma a baya da dama kuma suna cikin yanayin da suna buƙatar taimako da ɗaukaka na a fito da su da wuri. Ina fata gwamnati za ta samu shugabannin wannan ƙungiya ta magana da su don a samu fito da su da wuri. Assalamu alaikum.
I mean, looking at that video and the story we did, if you were to psychoanalyze it, do these guys feel like they're in the forest, clean uniforms, clean outfit for the MD, sporting his dark goggle,
and a videographer as
video
well.
camera? Felt like they were in some 5-star hotel and they were migrated into the bush to have a shot for us.
As I said, they have access to fresh fruits, you know, meat, fuel, everything you can think of. But you see, some of these videos will definitely buttress what we've been saying for a very long time. This was what was happening in the Northeast 10, 12 years ago. And based on our reportage, we've been warning government that they should not allow the problem to escalate into the hinterland, because it will be more difficult to contain. And this is where we are. You know, these are some of the criminals that migrated from, you know, the periphery. Now, where they live, you can see they have cut the corridor that links the north with the south, because unless it is absolutely necessary, who will travel through the Abuja-Kaduna road? Because they will arrest you and then take you into the bushes. And people are paying this ransom because they have lost confidence in government. They believe that the likelihood of them coming out through negotiation between government and the bandits, or through government using superior powers to subdue them and release the captives, is extremely minimal, it's extremely thin. And that is why you can see they are so confident. They are so confident because they know that they will always have their way, and it's really sad.
It's really, really sad, that the people has lost confidence in its own government. Now let's take a look at another newspaper this morning, talking about the Blueprint newspaper. There are quite a number of really very interesting stories on that paper this morning. But let me take you on this one about yesterday we saw in the news that ex-President Jonathan, escaped death. Unfortunately, 2 of his aides, have passed away. What do you know so far about that incident?
The details, are sketchy, yes, because it happened, in the evening, yeah. But we also have the story. They said it happened within the environment of the Abuja International Airport. But you can now see the fear, even among people who have all the protection, because an accident within an airport, they must be speeding.
Right.
Yes, and why were they speeding? Because they don't want to take chance. They don't want to take chance. If you have access to security reports, criminals are all over. Even the Abuja, honestly, is just a matter of time. Yes, there is this fear that criminals are almost everywhere. And that is why people who have the opportunity of having access to some of this information, they don't take it lightly. So wherever they are, you see them heavily guided. Despite that, they move with the speed of light. And that was what happened. They must be speeding in order to leave that area and then come to the town. And unfortunately, yeah, they had an accident.
At the risk of preempting what would have really happened, you are a global journalist in your right. You've been everywhere. I mean, is the way we move with convoy in this country, is that what you see when you travel to the other parts of the world? Despite their own security
honestly, it's not like that. Yes, I have traveled to at least 25 countries, yes, in the course of my job. In some places, somebody will have to tell you that that person is a governor.
But for us,
yes,
yeah.
the only country I went and I saw this kind of security was Turkey. This was in 2011, and they also had, a terrorist-like group like Boko Haram. Then, yeah. So when we went there, we were also given, many security operatives who were well trained. In fact, yes, who were well trained. But I don't want to digress. Do you know that among those who were, guarding us, children of the influential people of the country. One person, I was later told that he was the son of a certain king of one of the towns there. Yes, we went somewhere, then I just found my way. I wanted to go, and I just saw, he just, he followed me and said, no, don't go, come back. Well, the message there is that security is the responsibility of every other person. I think they have a way of asking their youths, whoever you are, to have that training, like the NYSC we have here, but their own, it's like putting them among the security architecture, maybe DSS, military, Air Force, or whatever, for a year or two, so that almost every other person has, that
capacity for
good self-defense, and then patriotism to also protect the country. And to greater extent, I think they have suppressed that tendency.
Interesting.
Yes.
For us, I think it's big lesson for this country where a general overseer has a convoy,
and the siren going on
convoy, a councillor's convoy. It's like
more than 70% of our security operatives in Nigeria are just doing ad hoc works. Because I can assure you that there is no house of a legislator, for instance, here in Abuja, you will go without seeing a security operative.
A minimum of at
Maybe,
least 12.
maybe one. Some have up to 10. Yes, depending on your way. So the larger percentage of our security operatives who are supposed to take care of the larger population are only taking care of very few people.
Interesting.
And that is why we have the ungoverned spaces.
It appears like anybody who can afford private security these days
Everybody
basically
does.
just pays.
And that is it. I'm telling you, there are some who never had any connection with government apart from contract.
Right.
But you see, DSPs, ASPs, and all that. Guarding
Amazing.
them.
Moving on to another interesting story on the front page of the blueprint is 2023, estimated 19 million to vote in 2023 elections, says INEC.
How many voted in 2019?
About 25 million thereabout. How do you think they arrived at what appears to be in multiples of what you have recorded
Yes,
in this country?
you see, people now obtain some of these documents like voters card, like national ID card, and all that, not because they want to use them for the purposes they are meant for. Like the voters card, is also an identification. You can open an account with it. You can register your SIM with it. If you receive transfer, you can use it to claim it. You can have access to some restricted areas. It's a means of identification. So many Nigerians, go for the voters card in order to have means of identification. But when it comes to election, the apathy is frightening. Take the Anambra State election, which was the last we had. How many percentage?
Yes.
I said about 10%?
Yeah, less than 10%.
Aha.
I mean, if you think of a 2 million state with 104.
Yes, but INEC is right to give the figures because it means they are on top of their game. Yes, registering people, which is a part of their mandate. But I think government must find a way of changing the mindset of people. Nigerians are completely disenchanted. They feel that they don't get value for going out to vote. During our editorial conference on Saturday last week, our former editor-in-chief, Malam Manir Dan Ali, he spoke on this, and he said this is where the media should also take interest, because in a situation whereby you allow less than 10% of the entire population to elect leaders, the tendency is that they will not bring out the best from among equals. And as media, instead of giving so much attention to the players, why not we give attention to why Nigerians must have interest on who become their leaders. And I think it's a big challenge for all of us in the media industry to start talking to people. Yes, and we should also encourage clerics, community leaders, and all that to say that the only way we can make a difference is by encouraging people to come out to vote for the right people. Yes.
Okay, now let's take a look at some more stories on the Nation newspaper this morning. Away from, the issues on grounds, let's talk about politics now. There's a story about zoning. Ohaneze lashes PDP as far as she faults consensus.
Yes, the signals, are clear that the PDP has opened the frontiers. Yes, the expectation in certain quarters was that they will zone the presidency, especially to the south, considering that you have another president who is rounding up his 8 years. But to me, people don't really understand what zoning means. You see, zoning is not about the head coming from zone A or zone B, but about sharing the spoils of war. Let me put it this way. Yes, that okay, after we've won, then maybe the North should have the vice president in the event that that's ahead of the election. Maybe if you have the flag bearer, maybe from the South, you now say, okay, the vice presidential candidate should come from the North, the Senate president should come from the North, maybe, and then after we win the election, maybe the SGF and other key positions, you share it among the 6 geopolitical zones. But you can see the body language of the South. I don't want to sound disingenuous. The body language is that all candidates from other parts of the country, especially from the North, should be shut out. And there is danger in that. Yes, for what Ohaneze is saying, there is danger in their understanding. Because what if someone, went to court and said his political party deliberately, infringe on his fundamental rights as enshrined in the Constitution for him to contest? I think what they should do is to now say we should allow the space open as we had now, yes. But ahead of the primaries, they can now convince the delegates, since ultimately it's the delegates that will elect the flag bearer. They can use their influence and tell the delegates that, look, Mr. A from so part of the country is our preferred candidate, so you can vote for him. But on the ballot, you have the names of all the candidates, irrespective of where they come from. You are solving a lot of problems if you do that.
That's an interesting perspective on zoning. It does appear that the more we listen to these politicians, the more difficult it gets to understand that. To tie, that major headline from the Nation newspaper with what we see on the Leadership newspaper, we now hear that amidst the backlash over the PDP open tickets, that northern presidential aspirants are lobbying their southern governors. Does that in a way fit into the recommendations, the suggestions that you have?
Exactly, but you can see the candidates from the North appear to be more organized and more determined. Yes, all of them, they have personal interest, but you can see they are looking at the bigger picture, talking about consensus. You can see Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed, Sokoto Governor Tambuwal, and then former Senate President Saraki. You can see them, is it globe-trotting or Nigeria trotting, moving from one state to the other. Yes, together. All of them have all obtained the ticket. But what they are saying is, can we come together? Can we come together and fight the common enemy? And you can see now they are also moving southwards, talking to the PDP governors on the need for them to coalesce. They want to come together so that if they have one among them, they are talking about consensus. So that ultimately when they have one strong candidate, whether he's the best or he is choosing based on certain parameters, all of them will collapse their structure so that they will confront the yes. And I think this is a smart move. Yes, but you can see the body language, especially from the South, is that, look, from the point of departure, you people should just have it in mind that the candidate should come from the South. Yes, and if they continue like this, ultimately they are giving the ruling party an edge, because we don't know for now where the APC will choose its candidate, even though some analysts are saying that definitely they will pick their candidate from the south. But PDP is closely watching.
Oh, we're on the lookout for that. And now, still on the leadership newspaper, we're also seeing that the federal government is saying that they are not overwhelmed by insecurity. But from the look of things, happening in our country, doesn't it seem like the government is really overwhelmed, with the issue
I
of
pray
insecurity?
it's true. I pray that government is not overwhelmed, but what I know for sure is that it is sleeping. Yes, even if they are not overwhelmed, they are sleeping. Those who are supposed to do things, they are not doing the right thing. Yesterday I saw a story from which country, the incident happened, I think 2 or 3 years ago. But Nigerians, somebody went and excavated that story on how, some ministers, resign simply because there was a train accident in that country, and it was not an attack, it was just an accident. So they are sending message that, okay, the latest that we had, was it the train attack? It wasn't. It was the ambush in Birnungwari, where soldiers were killed, heavy equipment vandalized and all that. They're saying nobody is even saying anything. Nobody is giving explanation to Nigerians, and then it will fizzle out just the way the train incident fizzle out.
Painfully. We're talking about sleeping leaders. I stumbled on 2 significant videos on the social media space. One of them, I think, from Ghana, a minister saying our condition is better than that of Nigeria.
I also saw a video like that on social media.
Of another institution where Nigeria was
exactly.
categorized for how not to be a nation.
It's really sad, but I hope some of these videos are the TikTok thing, because I also saw one 2 days ago. Was it in Finland or somewhere? A teacher, in the projector.
I think that's the video. That's the video I saw.
Saying yes, with the photo of our president, that you should not be
you should not aspire to be like this.
Yes,
I saw that video.
Honestly, when I saw it, I said, and I saw it on a credible platform, honestly, that he was teaching, and then
he projected that.
Yes, projected
I saw that video.
Example of bad leadership.
Yes, I think if I have my way, I will ask our ambassador, in that country to come back. You see, but nobody cares.
Nobody does, painfully.
Yes.
Still on the leadership, before we move on to the next paper, away from politics and all, it's an eye on the World Health Day, and from the leadership perspective, they said diesel electricity crisis hampers hospital service. We've seen various papers approach this day from different perspectives. How significant is this event in the life of our country, if you have to look holistically at how service delivery has been in terms of especially providing good healthcare to Nigerians?
Yeah, we're very far away from the ideal. Yes, most Nigerians still foot their hospital bills. Yes, despite the National Health Insurance scheme. And you know what that means. If you are to cater for your health, it means large chunk of your income will go to hospital, because assuming you have a wife or a husband with 3 or 4 children on the average, how much does it cost to treat malaria now in Nigeria? It's very expensive. Very expensive. But many Nigerians still pay their bills. And I want to tie this with the preponderance of corruption in the system. And why are people corrupt? Is because their lives are not secured. So any other person, wherever you find yourself, you try to secure your future. Yeah. In some places, you can see people are not obsessed with having serious balances in their bank accounts. You see somebody after putting 35 years in service, and then he's retiring, you see that he only maybe a 2-bedroom apartment, and there is nothing like generator there. The public water system is working, and he knows that even in retirement, whenever he falls sick, he will just walk to a health facility and he will be attended to. Some of us, often now, if you are going abroad, you see part of the criteria is that you must be insured by the people inviting you. I had a surgery in US in 2013, and it was free. It was free because the people who invited me that time, you know, they insured my life. So immediately I went, I took advantage. And I can assure you that this is what many Nigerians are doing. Yes, but here, who insured you? And then even some
when
of us,
you're insured.
yes, even some of us that are insured, you know, we have a serious health package here in Delhi. But when you go to some hospitals, up till now, you are in an emergency situation, but they will not attend to you. They will start asking questions that you have to call. Yeah. I know that I took my son, about a month or so. I took my son to hospital, and then they told me that it was on a Thursday, I think, or Friday. They said we should come on Monday for the test.
Really?
Yes. I said, what do you mean? That the people, the HMO desk, you know, in the hospital, that they were not around. I say it's not possible.
I've also had similar, incident with people, particularly those on NHIS. The treatment is different.
Yes.
And it's tragic because you're actually paying for these services, but they treat you as if they're doing you a favor.
Like it's charity. Also. So I tackled the man on the front desk. I said, you aren't serious. I brought my child. You are now telling me to go back home and come on Monday. So luckily I have the number of the DHMO. I called them. I said, look, I'm here. And this happens to many, unless you know you're right, and then you tackle them.
Right.
Yes, or you see them giving you even substandard drugs.
Exactly.
But you know, when we had an incident when we tried to do a story on the drugs, for instance, paracetamol, that some of these hospitals give to people on NHIS appear different from the one they give people who, you know, pay out of pocket. So, but they denied it. They said it's the same thing, only that they have this package, you know,
branded.
Big, branded, and then the other one is in, you know, big parcel, so that they can just use it to give people. But I think it's a plausible something. Yeah.
Okay, now let's take a look at just one more paper before we wrap up the discussion newspaper review segment. On the Nigerian News Direct, the Senate is considering imprisonment and fine for Facebook, Twitter post violators as a result of copyright abuse.
I hope they succeed. We have some of the finest laws in the world. Yes. But our major problem in Nigeria is implementation. You understand? We are not yet done with some of the laws that we have in the books. You know, the media, I mean, the social space is a new frontier, which is extremely difficult to navigate, which is extremely difficult to control. But it's good to have laws, and but I feel that it's better to have fewer laws that you can implement to serve as deterrents to people than having most of the legislations which are very difficult for you to implement. And for instance, I feel instead of saying a rapist should go and serve maybe 10 years, but you now take 5 or more years, trying to address the technicalities in convicting him. It's better to even lock him up for 2 years. You understand? Because by the time you cut the freedom of somebody for 2 years, when he comes back and then he commit the same crime, you now take him immediately. It's better.
Right.
Yes, but a lot of technicalities, they are hampering the what we call diligent prosecution in our judicial system in Nigeria. So we should try and address some of these technicalities so that people will know that they will pay a price when they veer off the track.
Interesting. And on a final note on this paper, I would like to get your perspective on the same News Direct story here. I'm sure you'll find on the other paper as well, on public building maintenance. Buhari signs Executive Order 11. Do we need an executive order to maintain public building?
I was surprised when I saw it because I believe you have maintenance department everywhere. Yeah, probably they were not doing their work, and then you now have the law. But it goes back to what I said earlier. Discipline is very important. If you entrench the discipline in the minds and hearts of people, you tend to get results. There is this theory of broken glass. It says that if you enter a school as a fresher and you see broken windows, papers thrown everywhere, and all that, the tendency is that you will also break another window. You will write on the wall, you will throw paper, you will break desk and all that. But in a situation whereby from the gate, you see trimmed grasses, green, the walls clean, the walkways well taken care of, the bulbs working and all that, there is natural feeling in you that there is discipline there. So you don't need any law
To tell you that.
to tell you that if you misbehave, there is a price for that. But a situation whereby you have all the rules and all that, but when you go, even to our courtrooms now, you see so many
Terrible.
abnormal things. So you will say that, okay, let me also misbehave because I know there will be no sanction for that.
What a fitting way to bring the analysis to a close. That analogy on discipline and how it sets precedents for people who are coming there. And thank you very much, Hamza Idris, for being part of the show this morning and for providing us with those
Very
those
interesting insights.
Sometimes I would say to myself that maybe you would better serve the government cycle as an advisor than you serve the newsroom. I'm not sure.
You said this last week.
But we hope those who are in charge of policies and decision making in this country are listening to some of these valuable insights, and they will come for useful recommendations where they need be. Once again, thank you for making our time to be
Thank
with us
you
in this
very
studio.
much.